Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I attempted it, but then it didn't look like it wasn't working, so I kind of left it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So let's just
I
pick up
actually
from there
did
to do
once.
kind of revision. Okay.
I actually tried to put it once. I
That's great.
tried, but because I was busy with some other things, I couldn't go back to it. I want correction. Please explain that.
Okay. So we'll be starting from there to serve two purposes. First one to be a kind of recap for our last class and to put us abreast what we'll be starting today. So and to serve as some people might not attend the last class with us, so it will be like a walkthrough so that they actually have idea of what we want to go into today, because today we'll be delving deeper into JavaScript core concepts. So let me share my screen and dash straight to the challenge. I hope my screen is visible over there before I start.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so going straight to the coding challenge one. So the challenge reads thus: Neymar and Mbappe are trying to compare their BMI, body mass index, to Neymar and Mbappe. Maybe they are trying to go to Paris tonight or Paris tonight. Sorry. So which is calculated using the formula BMI equals to mass divided by height raised to power 2. So, and I gave us in simpler terms how we can actually express it in JavaScript, saying mass divided by parentheses height asterisk height. Reason being that to use power in JavaScript, you actually will use another thing and not this greater than or power superscript sign. So I said the mass is in kilogram and height in meter. So and I gave us steps to go about it. Number one, store Neymar's and Mbappe's mass and height in variables. So we learned about variables. You see that this challenge actually encapsulates what we learned. So that was why I told us to attempt it. So we'll create a variable, maybe Neymar's name, another one Mbappe's name. So we get their mass and height. So we get their mass, we get their height, calculate their BMI, create a Boolean variable. So let's take it one by one so that it will be very clear. So here we are last week. So the first step here says yeah. So store Neymar's and Mbappe's mass and height in the variable. So that's our first challenge. So let's create a variable var nh. Let me use Neymar's age. Let's use camel case. Neymar age. Sorry, where did I see it? We are talking about mass. Don't mind. Neymar mass equals to. So I want to use real figure. Let me search for Neymar height and weight. So Neymar height and weight from Google says his height is 1.75 meter and weight of 68 kilogram. Height, mass is 68 kilogram.
Sorry, the visual stuff is not clear to me.
He said, okay, the test,
It's
right?
not like
What we are about to.
maybe it's to
Can you see
expand
my
your
screen
screen,
now?
sir. I
Okay.
think you should expand it to fill the your screen.
Okay.
It's better now. Thank
How
you.
about like this? Like this. Can we see the code? Okay. So this is the coding
Thank you.
challenge. So let me go back to my VS Code. Yeah. So were you able to see where I search for namers, mass, and height? Yeah, I
Yes.
just searched. Okay. So namer, weight, weight and height. The weight is 1.75 meter and height is 68 kilogram. So back to our VS Code. The mass is 68. var namer height was 1.75. So here we are. So for Mbappe also, because that's what the parent says, store Neymar's and Mbappe's mass and height in variables. So we've done that for Neymar. Let's go forth for Mbappe's. So his height is 1.78 meter and weight of 73 kg. Wow. Wow. Mbappe has just right mass equals 73. Then check back for his height. His height his height is 1.78. So we are done with the first step. So the second step is for us to calculate Neymar's BMI separately. Then we calculate Mbappe's BMI. Then we now compare the BMI the way we did last class, where we learned how to use logical operators. Then we output our results to tell us which of the two has the greater BMI. So that's just our task for this challenge. So calculate both their BMIs. And we've given us that BMI equals mass divided by height squared. So that's the expression for BMI. So var Neymar BMI equals mass. That's his mass is now Neymar mass. Neymar mass divided by Neymar height times Neymar height. So before we proceed, let's see what we are doing is actually working. Let's console.log Neymar BMI because it's good to test, see what you are doing before you proceed. Let's go to the console and see what's up. Let me refresh. I can't find anything in the console. What's up? Wow, Z. So let me write it so that we see which one is which. Console.log Neymar BMI is So who can tell me what I did here? Why check what will be logged in the console?
So
So what's
concatenate.
going on here? Yeah, that's great. So I did
I have a
concatenation.
question, sir.
So okay, yeah, that's the right answer. So I did concatenation. What's the meaning of concatenation? This is a number, you see, var, NEMA BMI is number, and this is a string. So I want to print out what we did last class where we are talking about the way JavaScript did is we did notation and type coercion. So we now want to log a string together. So we want to add this part of the code or this part of the expression to this one. So the plus sign will not be doing addition of numbers, but be adding string. Let's say this plus boy, it will now be this boy. So that's what we call concatenation. So you can add strings together. You can add strings to number. JavaScript will help you pass it as what? As a type of string. So let's see what is up now. You see now, NEMA BMI is 22.204, blah, blah, blah. So I don't want all these decimal points to show. I just want maybe, let's say, 2 decimal points. So how can I do that? So who can give it a trial?
Are you going to use anything like map.flow?
Yeah, that's great. So there is a JavaScript inbuilt option that is called math.flow. The meaning of math.flow is that everything after the decimal points help us what? Help us ignore it. So let's not talk from abstract means. Let's start JavaScript math.flow. It's math.round also. So let's see what the military school is saying. So you see now. So if I add math.flow to the expression, it will help me what remove the decimal point. Let's see what they did over here. See now, all this one decimal point were what were not, or it will be rounded up. So that's 2 uses of what math.flow. So see now, it rounds a number down to the nearest integer. That's the work of math.flow. So let's just use it. I've gotten the BMI here. I'll now say bar out. Okay, let me not waste variables. Let me just wrap this one to math.flow. Math.flow. This, all this inside. Let's see what's going on. You see now, NEMA BMI is 22. Our decimal point is what? Is gone. So we can work well with our value. So that's one of the beauty of JavaScript. There are a lot of pre-built functions. So don't bother yourself when you want to do something. Just research and say, okay, how can I do this? But before you know what to research, you need to take skilled courses where you know that okay, it's something that you know that exists. You can actually search for. So that's the idea behind it. Okay, take courses online. So when you take courses online, you can actually know that okay, this thing exists, then I can make use of it. So the work of the programmer is to know the tools that are available. So how to now amount the tools together to build something awesome is what we try to improve on. So let's not waste our time. Let's go for rapid school. I'll just copy
I have
this.
a question, sir.
Okay.
Is how you you should the console.log on the browser. On Chrome, I've forgotten.
Okay. Okay, you press Control Shift I. Control Shift and I. Or better still, you come here and you right click. You now see inspect. So when you inspect, you see it brought it here. So no messages from me from Google. This is Google stuff. But if I come here, there's message from 18 messages. So that's how you check your console. So going back to our BMI calculation. So I just changed this one to Mbappe BMI will be what? I will change the Neymar mass to Mbappe mass. This one to what? To his height. This one also to what? To his height. So let me log this similarity. So let's see what's going on. So Mbappe BMI is what? Is 23. Hope you're actually getting what we've been doing all this while so that we can recap if something is not clear. The whole house, are we getting what we are doing?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back to our challenge. What's the next thing? Print, okay, create a Boolean variable containing information whether Neymar has a higher BMI than what Mbappe. To now do Neymar BMI greater than Mbappe, then console.log is this and that. So let's go there. So the next thing, let's compare their BMI. The Neymar BMI greater than Mbappe BMI. So let's save that one in the variable. Let's call it BMI comparison. The BMI comp because this, let's console.log. What are we expecting? Are we expecting a number, a boolean, a string, or what are we for the BMI comp?
A Boolean.
The boolean, because you are actually what? You are trying to test, is this expression true or what? Or false? So let's see if the way we wrote it is the way it ought to be. Come in. Line what? Where did I put it? Okay, it's line 81. So from line 81, I saw false. So our last part of the challenge is what? Print a string to the console containing the variable from step 3. Something like, is Neymar's BMI higher than Mbappe's? Question mark. Then it will give us true or what? Or false. So let's do that one. I'll just do console.log. Let me see that I can copy this expression and not waste time. So we will now add to our BMI count. Let me remove this something like. Yeah, he said, is Neymar's BMI higher than Mbappe's? Asking question, he said false. So that's actually the coding challenge. Though we've done what we wanted to do with the challenge, but in more practical way or practical term, there are better ways to doing this. But this challenge is just for us to learn virtually all what we were able to go through in our last class. So as we move on, we'll try to modify this one. Take for example now, our next learning point will be if else statement. So the moment we finish with our if else statement, we should be able to modify this a bit. If this one is doing this, then don't tell me this kind of expression. Tell me Neymar is this, Mbappe is this is that. So from there we try to get the better way of doing things. But this, so what we've done here, we've passed this what coding challenge. So now back to our notes to see what we can start with today. So as I've said earlier, we are starting with if else statements. If else statement. Yeah, let's go through the theoretical overview. If else statement is one of the integral part of virtually all programming languages that plays the basic role of decision making by using code embedded in a conditional phrase. In simpler terms, if else statements are conditions that allow us to make decisions using code. So there are two keywords there. You have conditions and you have decision you want to make. So you now do that instead of you the way you make decision in life, like okay, I want to do this. If this is the case, then do this. So else, if this is not the case, then what should I do? That's simply what if else statement entails. So all these one are actually story. The way our brain process what should differ from the following. So you can just go through that at our leisure time. So in JavaScript, we start to make decisions firstly with the use of a conditional statement. That is, you write your if, then you follow that if with what? Parentheses. Within that parentheses, you pass your logical expression. Then after that, you make your decisions within curly braces. That's where your block of code will be. So if this is true, do this. Else, do that. So let's see examples here. So this one are actually explaining what we have over there. I think there is a better example than here. We'll still come back to all this when we talk about logical operators. Okay, let's do this to get the practical view of what we are doing. Let's test if someone is a boy, a man, or a teenager. You see now, we want to make decision. I don't know who will be coming to maybe to fill a form on my website. So before they fill a form, let there be a prompt or an alert to tell them enter your what, enter your age, or you get their age from somewhere so that they will not actually lie. Maybe their date of birth or from one document like that. So after getting their true age, you now pass your expression. If this person age is this and that, then do this. This person is a boy. This is the type of form you should present to this person. If this person is a man, so this is the type of form this person should fill and all that kind of what condition. So to now make that clear, we need to go back to this part. We will talk about two things. We have something we call operation. And when doing operation or making of operation in JavaScript, there's this popular term in our computer science where we have and or expression. Those are the basic expression that we have. That's why we have this and or table expressing and explaining things. Take for example, this is a variable for A, this is a variable for B. So getting the and expression. If this one is true, false. When A is true and B is true for and, then the expression will be true. When A is true and B is false, then the expression will be false. When A is false, B is true, expression is also false. When both are false, expression is also false. So the idea of and is that whenever one is true, then and whenever the two is true, then you can actually say this expression is valid. But if either is true or one of them is false, then it's not valid. This is just the simpler explanation. Take for example, I want to ask, a person can either be a teenager or the person is an adult. So you cannot be a teenager together with what being an adult. So if you want to write that kind of expression, you will opt for and, because you just want to tell us that okay, if this person is this and this, if this person is a boy and is a teenager, it can be a boy and a teenager, then pass this. I know this may actually sound confusing, but when we get back to our code base, we tend to understand it better. So let's do what we intend to do. We want to test with our if else statement. But before that, let's firstly write just a single if else statement. So let's say var age equals to 18. This is the registered age by adults. Now I want to use if else statement. The first thing you do is write if, open what parenthesis. You know, we've defined age as a variable and we've passed 18 to the age. You now say age is, okay, let me not say anything. If age, if it's equals to 18. Now, if true, that's what the condition will actually go with. What you are passing within the condition is either true or false. So if I write if age, the meaning is that if this expression is true, then what should happen? Parenthesis, console.log he is a teenager. No one needs to tell me that this I'm doing will actually not give anything tangible. Because I say if age, console.log is a teenager. Let's see what's going on. Said he's a teenager. How does he know he's a teenager? Because the first expression what is true. So you see what we did with Neymar BMI and Mbappe's BMI, we can make this expression more interesting, like more interactive with the user. You can just say, okay, if Neymar BMI is this, then tell us that Neymar is has a greater BMI than Mbappe, has a lesser BMI than Mbappe. So that's just the simple way and simple term to start our if else expression. So if you want to write your else block, you will start it from the closure of your what of your if block. This is what I'm saying. Else, you write another curly braces. See now, so console.log is an adult. So let me now turn this one to what? To something that is not age. To do that, you just use your what? Your exclamation mark. Exclamation mark is used for what? To do negation. So I'm telling that to pass for this condition to work or for this decision to be carried out, the condition we want to go with is that when our age is what is the opposite of what we've passed. This is what I'm saying. It said age is 18. So we now say if age is not 18, this exclamation means not. So if age is not 18, tell us is a what? Is a teenager. S is a what? Is an adult. Let's see what's is going on. Someone should actually guess what should be the expression. He's an adult. Yes, the person should be an adult because this expression is telling us that he's only 18. We have agreed to be what? To be a teenager. That's just about an expression. That's not the right expression. Write the right code when it's time. But just to explain if else what statement. So it now tells us that if this expression here is true, it should pass us a teenager. If it is not true, then tell us it's an adult. The expression here tells us that age is what? 18. But we said if this one is false. When it's false, it is else that will run. When it is true, it is what? It is the if expression that will actually run. So before we end this, there's something we still have else if. If you want to make maybe a serial decision, like okay, I want to make 2 conditions for my decision. If I am able to go to the pitch today and the number of players there are up to 10, me making 11, I'll play football. Also, if I got to the pitch and I just found someone they are playing tennis, those are 2 different conditions. But you can use just one if block to carry out the expression. Say, okay, if number of players is less than or equals to 11 or less than or equals to 10, pass me, I'm playing tennis. Else, if number of players is less than or equals to 1, tell me I'm playing tennis. Else, let me go home and sleep. So the way we do things in the real life, real world, so we can actually fork it into code. That's the brain behind programming language. So the language at which you now speak that the people will understand is the programming language you choose to write your code in. So that's just it's not pictorial, it's not graphical representation, but that's just the brief explanation of what we are doing. So let's now find something tangible here to do. Okay, let's try this. Let's determine if someone is a boy, a man, or a teenager. So now give us that to determine a boy is from 1 to 12. A teenager is from 13 to 19. And a man is 20 and above. So let's write an expression to determine this. So let me just copy this one so that I'll work with it. So let me copy it here. I'll work with it. So that's how you write code. You firstly can make a draft on your paper to see, okay, what did I want to do? The first thing is create an if expression. How can I know that it's from 1 to 12? I will say someone from 1 to 12 is not up to 12. So it will be that if the person's age is less than or equals to 11, or 11 will be the end point. I want to start from 1 to 11. And also, if the age is greater than 1 or less than or equals to 1. So let's not complicate it. Let's do what we want to do. So that's how you write logic, because it's logical. You have to firstly try to understand it in your own way. So if let's declare age equals to, let me just declare 11. So we test for boy, we test for teenager and man with our expression. So let's say if your parenthesis age is less than or equals to 1. I don't want to use less than. Let's use greater than or equals to 1. Because if I use less than, less than, it might be 6 months. The boy is starting from 1. Why are you doing? I don't want to talk about that.
Yes, it's me. Before the age, there's no need for there's no need for that to be there before writing the age.
Hey, thank you very much. See, you will now be trying to debug what's going on. Thank you very much. So, if age is greater than or equals to 1, and how do you write AND operator in JavaScript? You just use double AND. Normal AND, you use that shorthand of AND. And age is what is less than or equals to 11. What should happen? Tell us is a boy. Even get his name himself. Let's say var. Okay. Don't know their first name. Let me just use first name. Let's say David. I'll just say console.log first name plus David is what? Is a boy. So you know we want to test three things. We want to test for teenager and want to test for man. So that's 2 or 3 conditions. To do that, then we have else if, because we are not yet terminating our condition or our expression. So else if, and I'll call it place. Sorry, it should be space. Else if is one extra condition to follow up. Yeah. So else if we want to start from what? From 13. So age greater than or equals to 12. I can start from 13 to let's see. We know if we are writing something logical or not. And we are stopping at 19. Age less than or equals to what? Equals to 18. Yeah. What should you tell me? Console.log listing name plus is a what? Is a teenager. So we can actually do one thing for the last one here. We can write the expression that else if also, but to not waste our time, we can just say else. Because if the first one is not true, the second one is not true, definitely the last one, the person should be a man. I just say else. Console.log first name is what? The person name is a man. So let's see if we actually doing something that is right. Let's see. So what's happening? He's an adult, line 93. I am not working with adults. Out of line 105. Age equals to 11. I can't say anything here. Our code stopped running at 993. So I think there is an error message. David is not defined. So now so like you. see me. It ought to be a what? A string. That's JavaScript for you. The David is not defined. So that was what I talked about when I was talking about unidirectional flow. So it starts passing from up downward. So when it got to this first expression of 101, so all this one will even not work, will not run a JavaScript. So let's see if we are right now. So we can put messages. David is a boy. Wow. How does he know that David is a boy? Firstly, we defined our age to be 11 years old. We now pass our condition that if the age starts from 1 and ends at what? At 11, then tell us it's a boy. Let's see if other blocks of code are running. Let me give it a thing. Let's see what will be the outcome. Maybe it is a teenager. Let me now give it from 20 above. Let's say 40. Wow, David is a man. You see now, we've actually actualized what we wanted. We want to make a decision that based on the person's age, it's not even a prediction. Tell us exactly what category we can put this person. Is he from ranging from boy to what? To man. So that's the usage of if else statement. So there are a lot of usage. Let me see if there's actually something we can do here also with if else statement. Okay, let me search online. You can see some statements in JavaScript. Wow. Let's do something that is rational. We want to write if else statements to tell us whether good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So we want to do that. To do that, the first thing we should try to know is, okay, how can I know the current time we are? So is when I know the time, then I can say, okay, if this time is within this range, tell me good morning. You can say, okay, morning is from maybe this time to this time. You get? If this time is this or this, tell me what? Tell me this. So the first thing as a programmer is the problem identification. What are we trying to do? So what we are trying to do here is that, you see, they've even given us a brief expression of what we should do. They said, if time is less than 10 o'clock, then that's good morning. So we want to say that anything less than 10 is our good morning. So if you want to say good day, anything less than what? 8 o'clock is still good day. Anything apart from that, good evening or good night. So let's now do that with our own test. The first thing, let's go through JavaScript. That's what you do as a developer. You need to what? To know how to Google search, because Google is your best friend. You can get a new day. So let me see that of hour. So it tells us that whenever we want to get the current date, if you just say new and date, calling the method called date, JavaScript will output the current date. Let's try that one out. This is what I'm saying. In JavaScript, if I say date equals to new date, the method, we have called something method. Method are written functions that you can reuse. Let me console.log the date. Let's see today's date. I can get today's date from JavaScript. He said today is Sunday, January 16, 2022. The current time is 21:57:36 GMT +1 West Africa Standard Time. You see, JavaScript is too brilliant. So JavaScript is the first pass today. So from here, what I need to get are we in the morning? Are we in the afternoon? Are we in the night? Is what is to get the current hour. And I know using 24 hours time frame, I will tell it anything from less than 10 o'clock. That's good morning. Anything less than 8 o'clock in the night, that's what good day. Anything apart from that, tell me that was good evening or what, or go and sleep. So to now get that, we want to get the hour. So let's research and see how we can get hour. So we have a written method also that is called get hours. So these are the beauty of any programming language. If you have methods to use to call to do what you want to do. So the set date is this. Let me see if this will work. Dot get hour. Let me now see the dates. Yeah, it said 21. The meaning of 21 is that what? 9 o'clock. So let's wait 10 o'clock and see what will be the answer. This is 9:59. So while we are waiting, hope you are getting one or two things from what we've been doing. Hope it's not looking like maybe this person is doing magic all this while. This is not magical. It's JavaScript. Hello, let me get feedback from us.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are waiting for this 10 o'clock. Let's refresh and see what will be. We saw 21 the other time. We saw 22 now. We saw 22 now. So to tell us that what we are good to go, we can write our expression. So what is the expression? We have already identified our conditions. The condition is that anything less than 10 o'clock in the morning, tell me good morning. Anything less than 8 p.m. in the night, tell me good day. And anything after that, tell me what? Tell me, comrade, go and sleep. So let's do that. If date, let me know use date so that it will be interesting. If current time is less than 10, what should you tell? Console.log. Good morning. Okay, I don't study English. Good morning, comrade. So to write our else if, because we're actually working on 3 conditions. Else if, what's its own condition? If current time is what is less than.
Hello, sir. Okay, I've seen.
Okay. Have you seen what we are doing?
Yes, I've seen. I wanted to call your attention to something, but it's correct.
Okay. Console.log. Afternoon.
Hello, Mr.
Okay.
Check that line 113.
Line 113. Okay, date. That one will make JavaScript to pass us the wrong thing. Thank you. So the last expression we just else. I don't need to write any condition again because if it is not 10, it's not less than 20, then the person should go and sleep. Else. Console but long. Let me not use afternoon. Let me use day here because afternoon is not 8 p.m. So let's see if what we are doing is what is right. Good night, comrade. It's 10 o'clock. So I told it anything after 8, comrade should go and sleep. So JavaScript understand what you're trying to do. Let's see if we're actually in the morning. We cannot tell it in the morning because it's actually working based on prebuilt function. So the night will the answer will always be good night for this time. If you try this code in the morning, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, you see what you see good morning. So that's the very good side of programming languages. So you try to you want to solve problem in the real world.
Hello,
So you try
Mubarak.
to have something that relates with you. Okay,
Hello.
I'm all ears. Hello,
Okay,
hi.
so, yes, I have a question for you. Okay.
Okay, your
How
question.
many if statements can one have? I don't know, per coding. How many else ifs
Okay.
and how many else statements? Can you have more than 3? Can you have? I don't know. Just can you help with that?
Okay, so I will answer that question in 2 ways. Firstly, you can have as much as if else statement as much as you can,
Okay.
based on the condition you want to make. But it will be if, the next one will be else if. You can still have another else if, and the termination one will be else.
All
You
right.
get?
All right. All right.
So that's one thing. Yeah. But
All right.
in programming, we have something we call recursion, we have something we call iteration.
All right.
So we have recursion. I say in programming, we have recursion and we have iteration. So this kind of if else statement is called recursion. This is a recursive statement. So when you go deep into the core concept of programming, you start to learn something we call hello, are we on with me?
Yes, I'm listening. I'm listening to you.
Okay. I say when you go into the core concept of programming, it's a general concept, not even for JavaScript alone. You start to learn something we call complexities. So we have time complexity, we have space complexity, and just basically time and space. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So what that one is saying in essence is that as a developer, you tend to get advanced in what you are doing. So all this we are doing is to learn, okay, this is what we can use, this is what we can do. But there are situations that the best thing for you to do is to do iteration, because maybe iteration is actually is good for divide and conquer algorithm and all those concepts. The reason I'm saying this is that when you are using else if, it will be actually is recursion, it will be going, because what is telling it will go to the first expression. Is this true? So the way you are doing it is eating up some space, taking some time to get you what the answer. So take for example, you want to delve into a very large database, maybe in Nigeria, for example, for election. Is this person from this particular state? And your code will have to run from let me say from Abia to the last one is Zamfara before you can actually say, okay, this person is from Ogun State. So see that kind of complexity, see the memory that statement you actually have written up. So that's why we continue to get that part of the program. So apart from learning programming language, one thing we should all endeavor to look out for is DSA. That's data structure and algorithm. So data structure and algorithm is how you learn how to structure your data, and how you also learn algorithm. Like algorithm is taking
Alright.
some set of input and running some condition or expression to get some what set of output. So you have to learn how to reason the
Alright.
way your computer is actually reading. So that's basically what we are doing. So I think
Alright.
if else
Thank you
statement,
so much.
you are welcome. So if else statement, we should be rounding up on if else statement. But one thing to go, there are other ways of writing if else statements that is very, very clean, very professional, very good. So I will show us one. I will do it and show us a demo or something I was doing with React earlier today. So let me go to my terminal and do some stuff. So kindly wait till I pick up this. Okay, let me open it here. So let me get up this. Yeah. So let me see what's going on in my browser to start. So before, while we wait for that one to run, what I was trying to tell us the other time is something called ternary operator. Ternary operator or operation, anyhow. So the idea of ternary operator operation is that the way we write this if else statement, putting it in block expression, there is a better way of writing it, and it actually perform if else what operation. So that was when we were talking of JavaScript, we were talking of ECMAScript the other time that it evolved from ECMAScript. That's been the name. So JavaScript used to release updates basically per year on the latest thing or method we've added to the existing one or the one they've removed. So there was this breakout that is the current standard. We call it ES6, ECMAScript version 6. That was in 2016. So ES6 tells us that you can write if else statement but using ternary operation in JavaScript. So what's ternary operation? From the word ternary, we have binary, we have ternary. Ternary means that you have three set of things to work with. We have the if, we have the condition, we have what should be done, and if this condition is not right, then do this. But mind you, ternary operation only work with if, else. There is no else if, because we are talking of three expressions. The condition, what you want to do, and if the condition is not true, what should be the else or the exceptional statement. This is what I'm doing, what I'm saying. JavaScript ternary operation. So you see, ES6 ternary operator, that's what I was talking about. Normally, the if else statement is if this one is authenticated, render the app. S, tell us login. That's a condition written for a React app. Let's now see ternary operation. Ternary operation says that authenticated. This is what a query statement. Query it, render the app, else render the login. It actually sounds somehow confusing, but I will break it down for us to understand ternary operation. Let me not go to this one. Let's go through documentation. That will make it ways and yeah. Mozilla Developer Network says the conditional ternary operator is the only JavaScript operator that takes three operands: a condition followed by a question mark, then an expression to execute if the condition is truthy, followed by a colon, and then finally the expression to execute if the condition is falsy. I think this is a very, very good explanation, very good illustration. Ternary operator is the only JavaScript. See that keyword. The only JavaScript operator that takes three operands. First, a condition, the way we make conditions, followed by a question mark. The question mark will be telling us, okay, this is the condition. Then, after the question mark, an expression to execute. If this condition is true, console.log this. Then a semicolon to pass another expression if the execution is false. So let's now use ternary operation to do what we already have done. So here, I want to use ternary operation here to rewrite this if else statement. This is what I will do. I will say current time less than 10. Less than 10. Question mark. Okay.
Sorry, from your explanation now.
Okay.
So the ternary operator cannot be applied to the if else.
It's like if else statement, but in another cleaner format without the block expression. It's still doing if else. You know, if we take a condition in the first parenthesis, if this is true, then do this. Else if this condition is also true, do this. Then do this. But ternary operator is just for when you want to take three conditions. Like, okay, if this condition is true, do this. If it's not true, do this. So that was why I opened this one. Don't worry, I will show us. This is a React mini project. So I will show us how this one is done. And I actually made use of ternary operation to do some rendering here. So I hope I'm clear with what I said the other time. So can we go back to our code to continue the execution?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So back to our code. So I said current time less than 10. Query it. What should be done? Console.log. Good morning. So to write the else statement, I will just use colon. Else console.log. Let's say good night. So let me just comment out this one so that we don't have two code running. So comment out this. So let's see if our ternary operation is at work. Yes. Good night. Can you now see that ternary operation is what? Is number one. The idea of ES6 is that how as a developer can you write clean code? There's something called clean code. This is cleaner than all this if this. It's not every time we'll be needing if else statements. If you want to make like a decision, and if the decision is not true, something else should be done, then ternary operation is very good. To make this what I'm saying to be easy to understand, let me go to that. Project I
The voice is breaking.
so, please let's cut this line to where I put my cursor. Hello, please. I'm waiting for a response. I can't see us here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. So see this line 33. After all this drama up here, I said return.
So maybe the line was
What I thought
breaking.
was
We
the
didn't hear
other
what
time.
you said.
Okay, can you hear me clearly now?
I didn't hear what you
Yes, I
said
can.
last.
Okay, what I was saying, okay, did we grab the ternary operation, this good night part?
Yes,
No,
I
I
did.
did not.
Yes, I did.
Your line was breaking.
Some did, some
Your line was
didn't.
breaking.
So this is it. So let me rewrite the ternary operation.
I heard everything.
As Mozilla Developer Network told us, he said ternary operator in JavaScript is the only operator that takes three operands. Number one, the condition. Number two, what should be executed if the condition is true. And number three, what should be executed if the condition is false. So I now want to use it for this thing now. The first one is the condition. What's my condition? I say current time, whenever it is less than 10, less than 10. So how do we do that? Just put your question mark. What should be done? Console.log. Tell us good morning. So this is the condition. This is the execution if this condition is true. But if this condition is false, to do that, use your colon. Colon console.log good night. So let's now see what will be what the result. See now, line 117, we have what? We have good night. To tell us that our ternary operation is what? Is doing fine. Because our current time, if it is less than 10 o'clock in the morning, this is the meaning of this term. Tell us good morning. But anything apart from this is what? Is good night. Currently, the current time, as we pass there, I think the current time is what? Is still 10 o'clock. That's 22. So 10 is not less than 22. 10 is greater than 22. So it will be telling us good night every time till we get to what? To the morning. So what we tested here is that you can write cleaner code instead of writing if else, if else. If what you want to do is that this is my condition, if it is true, do this. If it is not true, do this. So that was why I opened this small project. That this rendering actually work with ternary operation. That if this is true, do this, else do this. So that was why I went to this part of the React project to show us something. So this is line 33. So are we now on the same page of line 33?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can see it.
So from line 33, after all this is the render part of what of the project. I did some destructuring here. All this one we learn them later. So this one are array function and all these modifications. So this is the part of the program that actually made.
What is online?
Hello?
Please. Okay, we have not the tools.
Yeah, you said. So I want to explain that part now to us. So on line 33, you see this part of this code, let me highlight it. This part you are seeing is what is showing here. Everything you see here like this, all these things you are seeing here is that part that is responsible for that rendering. And it's actually ternary operation that took well of that part. So if I use if else statement, number one, that place will be messy. Number two, the loading and everything will actually take time. So let me go back there. I told it after doing all this drama, filtering this stuff, then if robot have declared it somewhere in the code, if it's not true, I put question mark. You see, this first question mark is not for ternary operator. It's another concept entirely. We call it optional training. We are not there today. So this part is what our first expression before question mark. If robot.length is not true, what should be done? Render me this loading. Tell me loading. Else, render me all the what? Render me the what? This part of the program we are saying. What I'm telling this code essentially is that I am fetching this data from an API from somewhere. Some data is actually somewhere online. So before you can make use of this data, maybe when the network of the user is not good, that's why I say, okay, if this part is not true, then just show loading. But if it is true, if the user was able to get the data, was the network was good, and you can actually synchronize the data I said you should source online, then show them the graphical representation of all those robots. So take for example, I switch off my data connection.
I hope you don't switch off your data.
Can't hear you.
So
Okay.
I actually went to do some drama. So this is what I'm trying to say. Hello, are we on together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. So this thing is actually going because the data has not been fetched. So you see now, when the data was fetched successfully, it actually gave you the else part statement. So to tell you how ternary operator that we just learned is actually very, very what is very powerful. Return me with this condition. If it is true, tell me loading. But I said if it is not, that's why I put this word exclamation here to tell the condition not true. Do this for me. If it is true, then so to tell us that all we are learning are very fundamental concepts to give us or to make our life easier the more we actually work, the more we move on of programming. Basically, JavaScript and all uh, we that actually in line with JavaScript or what have you. So I think we've been able to cover if else statement brilliantly, and we took ternary operator. I don't know if ternary operator is even in this slide, but it's good as we've taken it. So that one is not a constraint again. Oh wow, it's actually here ternary operator and switch statement. I didn't even know that was.
Sir, I have a question. How do we write else if with ternary operators? Not tell us.
Okay. I said
Can't hear you again.
that ternary operator is not
It's breaking.
exactly if else statement. It just so is it clear now? Why isn't it doing
Yes, can you just repeat what you were saying?
Okay, I said the person asked that I've not shown you guys how to write else if in ternary operator. So now said that ternary operator is not exactly a total substitution for if else, but it actually does if else job. When we have just three things to consider: our condition, what should be done if the condition is true, and what should be done if the condition is false. So this kind of scenario used to occur a lot when we are writing code. That it's not if else you want to do. It's not that if this one, no, this is my condition. This is what I want to do. If this condition is true, tell this user to do this. If it is not true, then tell this user to what to do otherwise. So that was why I showed us that line of code that return this. If this robot.length is not true, then tell me it is loading. Then If it was able to fetch the data from the API source, then tell us that what display the robot for us. So those kind of scenarios usually occur in our programming ordeal. So ternary operation doesn't have else if. It only have condition. What should be done if the condition is true, and what should be done if the condition is what is false. So that's ternary operation for us. So that was why I went here. I don't even know that we have ternary operation. That should be the next thing we should take in. So we've taken if else. So I'll just read through this one and we call it a day. I said, according to MDN, the conditional ternary operator is the only JavaScript operator that takes three operands. I think we've read this one earlier on. So in simple terms, ternary operator is the one that takes three operands. The first being the condition, just like if, followed by a question mark asking for what to do if it is true. Then the expression to be executed, followed by colon, to log the else part of the logic, which the expression will follow if false. To see example below. First name is Abraham, age is 16. Using ternary operator to determine the kind of drink it takes based on his maturity. Note, below 18 takes juice, above 18 takes soda. See this kind of scenario. I just want to test, okay, should this person take soda or this person should take juice? So the condition is that when age is greater